Hello and welcome to another episode of Clicks on the Side. Today I'm going to go over some 300-point modern theme teams that I have made, and I plan to do a 8-team tournament with most of these teams. At the end of the video, I'd like to get some feedback on the teams you think should not be part of it. I have a total of 10 teams to show, and I think most of them will do pretty well. Some I think are going to be a little bit more overpowered, but that's the point of the tournament, to see who can make it to the end. We got a friend locally who will play against me. That way it'll be fair. I never found much fun in playing against myself with the Heroclix. I've tried it a couple times, and one team always seems to be the favorite, and I make sure they win. So this way it'll be fair, and hopefully have those posted here a little later on this month. The first team I'm not going to go too in-depth on because I made a video on it before, and that is the 300-point Wakandan Team. That does include number 29A, Black Panther from Black Panther Avengers and the Illuminati set. It also has number 29, Eric Killmonger from the Battle World set. Number 34, Storm from Xavier School set. Excuse me. Number 7, Wakandan Scientist from the Illuminati set. And then finally, it has Queen Shuri, M19016. Also, it's going to have 3 of the Infinity Gems with that Black Panther. For an extra 5 points, you get to equip any Infinity Gem to him. I just so happen to have pulled the, you can't see him, but I got him in my box up here, the Ultra Chase Thanos. So he will be equipped starting the game with the Ego Gem, and through the Ego Gem, he will also equip the Soul Gem and the Power Gem onto himself. So the Black Panther will be the main part of the team. Eric Killmonger has the reverse leadership, where he can take one away, an action away from your opponent. Storm's there for her TK, and then you can also get a free student ID, so you might as well. I happen to have the Jubilee one, so I can just go ahead and call in the rare Jubilee. And then the Wakandan Scientist has a special, where is it? A special Empower, I'm sorry, that helps out all Wakandans. Yeah, I tried it once before. It was pretty beastly. It won 2 out of 2 matches. But that is the first team that I wanted to showcase. All right, next up is my Suicide Squad theme team. It consists of number 054 from the Rebirth set, Black Manta. Number 054 from the Harley Quinn set, King Shark at his 90 points. Try that again. There he is. Nightshade from the Harley Quinn set, number 057. Heatwave from the WizKids Open, DP18-102. And I misplaced the cards, but 2 of the suited henchmen. Just to round it off, I'm also going to have the Harley Quinn ID card available to call in the title Harley Quinn. Alright, the main focus of this team are the barriers that both Nightshade and Heatwave can create, including heat waves, where after resolutions, the hit character is dealt 1 penetrating damage. The full thing, barrier, when Heatwave uses it, this turn he has free Make a range attack regardless of range or line of fire, targeting one character adjacent to one of his barrier markers. I found that handy. That's the main reason the penetrating damage is why I picked him over Captain Cold. I'm a Captain Cold fan, but I'd rather have the one penetrating damage over the incapability, pretty much, giving a token. Those barriers are going to come in handy to protect both Black Manta and King Shark until you're able to get them set up where you're wanting to be. The main thing you're wanting to do here is Black Manta's trait of the Black Pearl. Generate up to 4 water tray markers within range, each adjacent to at least one another, and at least one marker must be adjacent to Black Manta. When Black Manta is KO'd, remove these markers from the map. Free. If Black Manta occupies water terrain, you may place him into a square of water terrain within 5 squares. The marker generator is the main thing here, and ideally you want to do it so that when you generate the water terrain, King Shark is left in it. Why, you ask? Because of his trait, Sidestep. Free. If King Shark occupies water terrain, move him up to his speed value. That speed value starts off at a 9. Now, the way this team is set up, since I have 6, including the suited henchman, he has his other trait, only 6 of us. Stealth, but only if your force has 3 or more characters. Improved movement through hindering, but only if your force has 5 or more characters. Modify all combat values by +1, but only if your force has exactly 6 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So with that, that gives him on his top dial 10 with Flurry, 12 attack now, 18 defense with only toughness, and 5 damage. That 5 damage, though, is exploit, weakness, and shape change. So, if you're able to move him up for free 10, for 5 damage, there's not much most people can do, most teams can do about that. He will wreck them. Of course, there are outwits and such that will get them out of that, but most cards cannot outwit for 10. So that is the main idea behind this team, is to get these 2 in position through the barriers of the other 2, so that King Shark can just do his thing. The henchmen are only there to make it a 6-man team. Should one of them get knocked out, you can always use the ID card to bring in Harley Quinn for a turn, and his stats go right back up. Alright, next we have the Asgardian Team. I also like to call it the spawn of Odin, as it has all 3 siblings, at least according to the MCU. It starts off with Hela Chase 016 from the Thor Ragnarok set at 100 points. It also has number 031 Uncommon Thor from the Illuminati set. He's at 120 points, but we are also using the Bearer of the Time Gem, so that makes him 125 points. Excuse me. And then we are also rounding it off with number 002, Loki from the Mighty Thor set. He will be starting off at 75 points, as we're going to use the God of Trickery trait to start with 2 additional Lokis on click number 1. Alright. So with this one, Thor's going to be the heavy hitter. Pretty much starting off with that 18 invincible, 4 damage, running shot, energy explosion. Give him probability control with the time gem. If he has an attack roll of 10 or higher, opposing characters can't use effects to re-roll this turn, so it will take away their prob. And then, of course, it increases his range by +1. So a 7 range with that 11 energy explosion to start off. And then he can take a hit should he need to. Then Hela's going to be out there with her trait. Hela starts the game with a Rise token. When a character that isn't a bystander is KO'd, heal Hela one click and give her a Rise token. Free, remove a Rise token to generate a Fallen Warrior bystander. So you start off with one of those already. Well, essentially, there's already a Rise token on her. And then as they start dropping, or your opponents start dropping, you get more of those. Then she also gets to start with Invincible, so that's always a plus. Has some Pulse Wave and Pinsai later on as well. Mastermind that she can go ahead and put onto the Fallen Warrior if you keep it adjacent. And then most of you know what the Loki can do. He starts off with the 2 extra bystanders. Has a special power there. Damage power. Shape change. There it is. Shape change. When Loki uses it and succeeds after resolutions, you may generate within range and line of fire another Loki on the click number 1 that appears after the orange KO. They have a 0-point value for all effects, including scoring. So those are great tie-up pieces. They have teleportation. In-caps, pretty good with them too. Shape change and super senses. Just great tie-up pieces. While Thor and Hela get to do their thing, they're stuck dealing with all the Lokis. Next, we have a 300-point Thunderbolts team. That team is going to consist of number 013B, Red Leader Prime from the Mighty Thor set. Number 100 from the Avengers Infinity... from the Black Panther and the Illuminati set, Winter Soldier. M19-010, Bullseye. From the Illuminati set, number 013A, Black Widow. And we are going to be paying the extra 5 points for the Bearer of the Space Gem trait. There you are. Modify speed +1. Give her facing teleport. Passenger 2. When this character hits, if the attack roll is 10 or higher, after resolutions, you may place a hit character up to 8 squares away from their current square. And filling off the team is... We're going to be starting off with 020 from the Illuminati set, Elektra, the Uncommon. And of course we do have, because that is the one with the Thunderbolts keyword, is the main reason. We do also have 003, the common Elektra, and 037. Sorry about that, the truck decided I want to be loud. 037 from the Illuminati set, Elektra, the rare. So we have the shifting focus for Elektra. A lot of ranged here. Elektra will probably very quickly be shifting focus to her common, just so we have someone who can get up and close with his combat reflexes. But it is nice to know that she has... she does have the ability to do ranged with her Thunderbolts. The black costume has running shot Pinsai to start off with super senses. Almost lost the camera there. The rest, there is a lot of ranged. Black Widow with that Space Gem is going to be our taxi. She'll be able to carry 2 up with her. Then she does have combat reflexes and perplex herself with incap. Only 3 clicks long, but she is not totally useless. That's why I'm glad she is able to fit on the team. Otherwise, we would be severely hurting for up-close hitters. Red Leader, of course, great for his double perplex. Outwit perplex. Red Leader may use his perplex's power, and if he does, modify the chosen combat value by +2 or -2 instead. Then he has the trait once per game. When Red Leader would be KO'd, you may instead give another friendly character with the Thunderbolts keyword 2 action tokens, which it must start at 0. And if you do, Red Leader starts all over again at click number 1. So that's pretty handy. Bullseye's pretty straightforward. No traits, but he does have a special attack with Precision Strike, where he can target multiple characters with it. Then he has probability control, but only to target himself. Good dial start, though. Running shot with a 12 with that Precision Strike. 17 ESD, and then 3 damage. And this is the one I'm most excited about, is the Winter Soldier with his trait. Close Combat Expert, Super Senses, but only succeeds on a 6. Still, it's nice to have Super Senses just in case. The damage power gives him Range Combat Expert as well. Range, make up to 2 range attacks. So, running shot with Energy Explosion, 3 damage. Has the Hydra team ability and the Shield team ability. Black Widow has the wild card ability, so she can take that Hydra ability as well. All in all, I think there's some synergy there, and I'm looking forward to testing this one out myself. Now we have our Shield team. One of these is going to look familiar as we just went over it, and that is the Black Widow from the Illuminati set. Again, we are paying the extra 5 points, so she starts off with the Space Gem. We are also going to have Stegron from the Earth X set, number 038. Going to be super helpful because of all of these guys. Along with them, we're going to have 2 characters from the Captain Marvel movie set. Number 013, Nick Fury. And number 018, Phil Coulson. So with this team, we're actually going to have 2 pretty good taxis, with the Black Widow with the Space Gem, then Phil Coulson with his Zephyr 1, Stealth, Flight, Passenger 4. Phil Coulson does not modify his speed value from the use of the carry ability. So I just thought that was pretty neat. Now, the thing I do like about the Nick Fury and the Coulson are their stop clicks. Here we go. They are both very similar. Stop. When this power is first revealed, remove all Tradecraft tokens and heal Nick Fury that many clicks. Same goes for Coulson. And as you see here, Nick Fury starts the game with 5 Tradecraft tokens. So does Phil Coulson. Free. Remove a Tradecraft token to choose an opposing character within line of fire. That character can't have their combat values positively modified until your next turn. For Coulson, it's remove a Tradecraft token to choose a standard damage power for Phil Coulson to use until your next turn. Both pretty handy there. Coulson also has traded ESD. And on another, remove a Tradecraft token to choose an adjacent character. Until your next turn, that character can use ESD if they are adjacent to Phil Coulson. It's always nice to see stop clicks on these guys. Unfortunately, there is not a way to get more Tradecraft tokens, so once you use them, you lose them. They do also come with both the Shield Team ability, and the Avengers Assemble ability. And I like this with these cards. I only seen them do it with this movie set. It actually has the team abilities printed on the cards. So Avengers Initiative, improved movement through hindering, and improved target through hindering. I thought was pretty impressive. And then it has the Shield Team ability there as well. I hope that's something they look into doing in the future with more sets. Because right now the only way I have of looking up team abilities is through an app on my phone. And that's literally the only reason I keep that app anymore. It has the team rules and stuff like that. It's a lot of outdated stuff. In fact, if it wasn't for it telling me the team abilities, I wouldn't even carry the app. A lot of good powers here. Nick Fury starts off with sidestep and stealth. You can remove a tradecraft token to move Nick Fury or an adjacent friendly character up to half their speed value, so that's nice. Starts off with pin Psi as well, outwit. Coulson starts off with an 11 in cap, and he has leadership, so there's 2 leaderships on that team to try to get tokens off, which could come in handy when you're talking about Stegron and the dinosaurs he can pull up. The bystanders printed on this card are dinosaurs. At the beginning of the game, generate 1 of each dinosaur. Power, generate a dinosaur if that dinosaur is not already on the map. So you don't have to wait. You can go ahead and pop out 1 of each of these 3. And yeah, that's a Stegosaurus with the Mystics team ability. That's just crazy. So for 75 points, you're not just getting 1 character. You're getting all 3. Or I'm sorry, all 4. Then he's got regen on the end. He's got steel energy there. I've kind of just threw this one together, so it hasn't been tested at all. But I think there's something there. It'll at least be fun to play, and we'll see how it would do in the tournament. Next up, we have the Spider-Man family team. It is going to be 4 characters deep with an Infinity Gem. We're going to start off with number 053A from Earth X, Spider-Woman. 037A from Earth X, Spider-Man. And he does come with the web shooters. Gives him in cap with a maximum range value of 4. When his character uses it and hits, instead of giving an action token, you may have hit targets gain immobile until your next turn. They still take 1 penetrating damage if they had 2 action tokens. Now we're going to follow that up with 037B from Earth X Spider-Man. That's right, the Miles Morales Prime. And we're going to round it off with number 046 from the Xavier School set, Gold Balls. I know he's not everybody's favorite pick, but I figured with this team, why not give him a try out? That special ability, with his trait, Gold Balls, opposing characters adjacent to, occupying the same square as, or holding 1 or more gold balls, objects modify their attack and defense -1. And then he has his attack there. When gold ball hits an opposing character with a range attack, after resolutions, you may generate a standard light object named Gold Ball in the hit character's square. So, of course, the object of the game for him is get as many gold balls out there as possible to try to weaken the opponent's team. We want to try to get the Soul Gem onto Spider-Woman as quickly as possible to up her defense and give her steel energy. That way we can keep her up on her hypersonic for as long as possible. Does come with shape change, and then that defensive power of toughness, energy shield deflection, and willpower. So you keep her going. She also has poison, but deals damage even if moved or placed this turn. So that's something that's a little different. Then she does have, at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. This turn possibly modifies speed by half of the result. So that could potentially be an 11 hypersonic speed. I do like the Prime Spider-Man for his improved movement, ignores hindering, elevated, and character bases. Traded super senses, which I'm glad he hasn't traded because otherwise defensively he only has, well, really nothing. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose one to last until your next turn, attack +1 or stealth. So he is pretty much naked defensively, with the exception of that super senses. So it actually might benefit more to get him that soul stone to +1 to his defense and give him the steel energy, because there's a lot of potential for him to get knocked out real quick. He does come without wit, so that helps. I actually prefer the regular rare Spider-Man. Has the same improved movements as the Prime, but comes with those with the web shooter, which I really like. Running shot: when Spider-Man makes an attack or is attacked, after resolutions you may move him 1 square. And then that trait free. If no other friendly character has activated this trait this turn, choose an opposing character that attacked a friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword since your last turn. Place Spider-Man such that he can make a close attack targeting the chosen character. So a lot of avoidance, a lot of super senses. Hopefully Gold Balls is able to get his Gold Balls out there to help lower attack and defense to make it easier for the others to hit. There's not a real tank on the team, so that makes it a little harder. It's kind of ranged heavy, but I think it can get the job done against some of these teams. I don't know how far overall it'll go, but it at least seems fun to me to try out. So looking forward to that. Now we're going with a monster theme team. We're going with Captain Venom, number 062 from the Earth X set. He is going to be at his 75-point value. Number 001B from Earth X, Venom Prime. Number 103 from the X-Men Regenesis set, Gambit. Sorry about my nose. It's been very stuffed up the last couple days. Thought I was over it. Apparently I am not. And rounding off the team is Raven from the Rebirth set, number 040. And she will be at her 50-point value. Main reason she's on the team, at 50 points she does start off with Pinsai. Unfortunately, it's Pinsai for 1 damage, so it doesn't do much, but it is still 1 damage. But her taxi ability is the main reason she's here. Traveling through my soul self, phase teleport, stealth, passenger 3, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her, regardless of flight ability. So she can carry all 3 of the others up into the action. And then she still has her damage power as well for perplex, probability control, and support. All 3 going to be very helpful with this team. I have Captain Venom and Venom. I specifically went with the Venom on this team so that we can use the call-in help from the Venomverse once per turn for all characters with this trait. When Captain Venom hits an opposing character after resolutions, we may roll a d6. 3 through 6, place another friendly character whose name includes Venom. Hello there. Place another friendly character whose name includes Venom adjacent to Captain Venom. So get him up close and personal, take a swing, gets Venom involved, who starts off with an 11 in cap. When Venom uses it, after resolutions, give an action token to each other opposing character within 2 squares and line of fire of the hit target. Also, with Captain Venom's damage ability, leadership, when another friendly character with monster keyword attacks, modify its attack +1 if Captain Venom attacked this turn. So, if he takes the first swing, Venom's going to come in with a 12 attack instead of an 11 to try to do a little bit more damage onto him. Let's see, of course they both have traded shape change and plasticity, and they both automatically break away, which is also very handy. And that leads us there's other abilities on there as well. Improved movement through hindering and elevated. Captain Venom's trait, Eddie, you're just the man we need, makes it so that monster teams can be a named theme team. So that makes this all possible. And then that leads us to the Gambit. Avatar of Death. Gambit deals penetrating damage. Period. Love it. He also has Noxious Gas, Poison. When Gambit uses it, opposing characters within 3 squares are considered adjacent. And that is penetrating damage for that poison. Love it. He also has the attack power of Incap. When Gambit uses it as a close action, hit characters are given 2 action tokens instead and gain immobile until your next turn. Fan-freaking-tastic. This was the main piece I wanted from the Regenesis set. Unfortunately, our events kind of petered out here, so I did have to go to eBay to get him. Between work and the lack of events in the area, I just was not able to play or have a chance to win him. So unfortunately, that's the route I had to go. Comes with shape change on the first click. Incap, stealth, 18 with invuln, and he is indomitable. He also does come with regen at the end of his dial, and he has steal life in the last 3 clicks. So he can stick around. I'm sorry, steal energy in the last 3 clicks. So he will stick around for a little while and give the others, Captain Venom and Venom, a chance to do their thing. Alright, this team is kind of a guilty pleasure team. I want it to work. I doubt it'll work, but I am a huge fan of 2 of these characters, so I'm trying something. It is our Arkham Asylum team. It consists of number 043B, Harley Quinn Prime from the Harley Quinn set. Number 024, Uncommon from the Harley Quinn set, Scarecrow. If you can't tell, I am a fan of the yellow, of the Sinestro Corps. I really love this Scarecrow, and I really want to make it work on a team. Just haven't found a great way to do it yet, but hopefully I can figure something out. Also, we have the 043 Rare Poison Ivy from the Batman the Animated Series set. And to round things off and keep things interesting is number 014 from the Rebirth set, Prez Rickard. His trait, everyone's favorite teenage president, Prez Rickard doesn't count for or against theme teams, so that does make this team possible. The main reason he's here is for the Golden Age of America, leadership, but succeeds 4 through 6. When Prez Rickard uses it and succeeds, instead you may remove 1 action token each from any number of opposing characters. For each one removed, remove an action token from a friendly character within 6 squares. I love that. I've used that a couple times in events, and he's actually been more useful than I thought he ever would be. In my opinion, he is best when you push him to his second click. That way you get that perplex as well, but still keep that 18 defend to share with others. The reason for that with this team is that perplex will help with the Harley Quinn, who has a trait Perplex, but only to modify combat values -1. When Harley Quinn uses it, choose close or range. Unless it's the only character for an opponent's force, the target can't make that kind of attack until your next turn. So that would be a second Perplex down, which would lead me to Scarecrow's trait of Fear Distilled. Perplex, but only to modify combat value -1. If you use those all three on your opponent's defense, that should help with this. When Scarecrow uses it, calculate the target's defense. If it is 15 or less, after resolutions, deal the target 1 penetrating damage. Excuse me. So there's a free click of damage. Gotta love that. It takes a lot to get to it. Otherwise, he's pretty basic. Love the running shot pin side to start with a 19 ESD. Clearly a ranged character. That is the downside of this team, is there's no real hitter, as Harley Quinn does have Hypersonic starting off with with knockback as her damage power. Knockback damage dealt due to Harley Quinn's attack is increased by +1, so if she knocks him off the ledge, take an extra click. Only toughness on the dial though, but does have a running shot pulse wave later on her dial with ESD, so that's helpful as well. Then we went with the Poison Ivy because the improved movement through hindering. Super Senses on her as well, modifies defense +1 for each adjacent smoke cloud. And she uses smoke cloud as free, but only to generate 3 markers. But just doing that alone, that potentially takes her up to an 20 defense. At the end of each opponent's turn, deal 1 damage to each opposing character occupying or adjacent to a smoke cloud marker generated by Poison Ivy. Sorry about that. Had an Amber Alert pop up on the phone and interrupted the viewing there, but that's pretty much this team in a nutshell. I don't know how well it would do in the tournament, but like I said, it's a guilty pleasure team that I'd wanted to try out. So we'll see how it goes. Well, one other thing I forgot to mention about this team is that we are also going to use the Joker ID so that we can bring in the Christmas Joker for his shenanigans. I don't like that he's naked on his defense except for willpower, but hopefully he can get in there to do the damage he's supposed to and get out. But just gives me an excuse to use this Joker, who I love that sculpt. Okay, the Arkham Asylum team is one of the wild cards. This is the Batman family. We have number 047 from the Elseworld set. Luckily, this is still legal. It was just before the cutoff. We have the Batman Chase. Love this piece, as I'm a diehard Batman guy. So I was very happy to pull this one. The only Chase from that set I wanted. We also have number 041 from Batman the Animated Series set, Rare Robin. And we will be using him at his 75-point value. That is the Tim Drake Robin. Next, we have from the Batman Animated Series set, number 037, Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Yeah, 50 points. And then, so this was going to truly be a Batman family team, where I had the Red Hood in as the last member of the team. That way we had all the Robins, with the exception of Damian, which I do have that as well, but that's part of a Teen Titans team that I'm trying to get. It's a mess. But I just could not overlook how good this piece is. Number 034 from the Rebirth set, Orphan. I am a huge fan of this team. She is also a part of my League of Assassins team that I was thinking about putting in this video, but that's going to be for another time. Very impressed by this piece for 75 points. Of course, this team's going to work best if you are able to, if you win map roll, get a lot of hindering terrain because of the Batman team ability. You'll have stealth with all of them. We got a lot of end cap from the Robin. Batman, of course, you want the hindering for his trait. When Batman occupies clear terrain and is given a non-free action, after actions resolve, you may place him into printed hindering terrain within 4 squares and line of fire. So he can take a swing and then retreat back to safety. Going back to Orphan, I love her trait of modify attack and defense +1 for each adjacent opposing character. So you throw her right into the mix, and she could do a lot of damage. She does only have super senses for her defense, but like I said, if you're able to get her right up there, that even next to 2 people, she's up to a 19 with super senses. So it'll already be hard to hit. Improved movement through hindering and elevated. Quake, precision strike, but may use it with any number of targets. Just overall impressed with that. I don't think you could do much better with a rare, so had to be on the team. Again, the Robin, you get the end cap. The trait, if you did not choose the map when placing characters during game setup, you may place Robin in a square of hindering terrain within 5 squares of his starting area. So he does not have to start in the starting area. That is insane. Crazy. Combat reflexes, super senses, willpower, but only if there is a character named Batman or Bruce Wayne within 6 squares. A running shot end capped with an 11 ESD, probability control. Fantastic piece. Nightwing's kind of generic, especially for a rare. Maybe for an uncommon this is good, but just a movement ability, leap, climb, sidestep, free if Nightwing has 2 action tokens, make an attack. But he is a beater, so if you get him in there, he does have combat reflexes. Like I said, I think that's more of an uncommon than a rare, but he meets our purposes. And that is the Batman family team. Again, I don't know how well it would do in this tournament, but I figured it'd be fun to play. Like I said, I really wanted to get that Orphan out there and see what it can do. And this will be an opportunity to do it. 1 team left, and then we're going to wrap things up. Okay, and rounding off the list is our Secret 6 team. There are 2 different ways of doing this. The way I have chosen is starting off with Giganta. And we're going to be using her at her 50-point value. You can also sub her out for the King Shark at his 50-point value. But since he's going to be part of the Suicide Squad team, we're going with Giganta. That was 055 from the Harley Quinn set, super rare. We are also going to be using 043 from Rebirth, Lady Vic, rare. She will be at her 50-point value as well. Number 039 from the Harley Quinn set, Jeanette. At 50 points. Starts off with TK there, gotta love that. And some pulse wave, running shot pulse wave after that, so you can TK to push her to a second click, and then from there, pulse wave to your heart's content. Number 005 common, Catman. Can't have a team without Catman. Pretty straightforward. 50 points. Get them up close with the combat reflexes, blades, claws, exploit weakness. Number 043A, Harley Quinn rare. At 50 points with the wildcard team ability. Fortunately, that really won't come in handy with this team. And finishing off with number 021, Scandal Savage, uncommon, who I think is underrated from this set. She is also in my League of Assassins team with Orphan, Ra's al Ghul, and Talia al Ghul, along with the 2 ninjas, so that she can take advantage of her trait, which everyone on this team has, only the 6 of us. Stealth, but only if your force has 3 or more characters. Improved movement through hindering, but only if your force has 5 or more characters. Modify all combat values by +1, but only if your force has exactly 6 characters. We have exactly 6 characters, so it's +1 to everything. This team does benefit from map win, so if you're able to get a lot of stealth, go for it. Because your team can move around and it might hinder theirs. But that was the main point of this team, was to take advantage of the only 6 of us trait. Nothing too heavy hitter. It's pretty much taking a bunch of chip shots. Lady Vic does have on her damage power, free, choose one, give Lady Vic a move action at no cost, or make a range attack after resolutions deal Lady Vic 1 unavoidable damage. So you give and take there. I'm a big fan of Jeanette, just because of what we talked about earlier, having the TK and then Pulse Wave later. But on her defense, she has toughness. Jeanette takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks unless the attack roll is doubles, so that helps out as long as you can avoid outwit. Has regen on her last click too. Like I said, I thought Scandal Savage was underutilized. Has free, choose combat reflexes or exploit weakness. Scandal Savage can use the chosen power until your next turn. So that is a potential 3 exploit weakness starting off with an 11 attack. Or if you think her defense is going to be enough and you got her up there, combat reflexes gives her a 19 up close, and you still have an 11 attack with precision strike, and close combat expert. So you could get that damage anyway. Not bad at all. And then the +1 to all of her abilities. So overall, I think there's a lot of potential here as long as you can keep it at 6 team members. Like I said, very dependent on having the a lot of hindering terrain to hide in would help. I think it's still feasible without it, but it really does to be fully functional needs that hindering terrain. But those are the 10 teams I have come up with so far. I am working on a Sentinel team featuring Cassandra Nova. But I still need a couple more Sentinels to really make that work. X-Men team I'm working on with Gambit and Storm. Dark Phoenix. It just needs some more tinkering before I want to try those out. Those are the 10 I wanted to showcase. I know this has been a long video, but let me know what you think. Which 8 teams you think have a chance. Which 2 teams you think I should leave out of the tournament. Any feedback and anything at all, always welcomed. But until next time, this has been Clicks on the Side.